Have you ever felt that shiver down your spine when passing by an old, abandoned house? Imagine venturing inside, only to discover that some secrets are better left buried. This is the story of three young people who dared to challenge the unknown and ended up facing consequences beyond their imagination. A journey that started with innocent curiosity and ended in a nightmare that would change their lives forever. Rumors about the old Eldridge mansion were spreading through the town like wildfire. Lucia and Elias, sitting on a bench in the Central Park, watched the ebb and flow of people as the late afternoon sun painted the sky orange. The chatter around them was constant, and fragments of conversations reached their ears. "Did you hear about the mansion?" a girl whispered to her friend as they walked past them. "They say it's haunted. My grandmother says no one has been inside for decades." Lucia felt a tingling excitement run through her. She turned to Elias, her eyes shining with curiosity. "Elias, have you heard those stories about the mansion?" Elias adjusted his glasses, a nervous habit he'd had since childhood. "Oh yeah, my dad always says they're just urban legends, nothing special." But Lucia wasn't convinced. She leaned forward, lowering her voice. "What if they're not just story? What if there's something real in there? We should go check it out." Elias hesitated, concern evident on his face. "Lucia, it's just an old story. No one's ever actually gone inside. It could be dangerous." At that moment, a familiar voice interrupted their conversation. "What are you two whispering about?" Theo, the impulsive friend of the group, approached with a mischievous smile. He threw himself onto the bench next to them, draping his arms over their shoulders. Lucia didn't waste any time. "Theo, we were talking about the Eldridge mansion. Have you heard the stories?" Theo's eyes lit up with interest. "The haunted mansion. Who hasn't heard? They say that anyone who goes inside never comes out the same." "Exactly," Lucia exclaimed. "I was telling Elias that we should go check it out." Theo jumped up excitedly, energy pulsating in every movement. "Now that's an idea. Let's do it. A night expedition. You guys aren't scared, are you?" The challenge in Theo's voice was undeniable. Lucia and Elias exchanged looks, a mixture of excitement and apprehension passing between them. Lucia was the first to speak. "I'm in. Let's uncover the mysteries surrounding that place." Elias still seemed hesitant. "I don't know, guys. What if we get caught? Or worse, what if we get hurt?" Theo slapped Elias on the back. "Stop being such a scaredy cat, Elias. This is going to be the adventure of our lives. Besides, we'll be together. What could go wrong?" Lucia smiled, feeling the adrenaline start to rise. "Then it's decided. Tomorrow night we'll unravel the mystery of the Eldridge mansion." The next day passed in a blur of anticipation and secret preparation. Lucia could barely focus in school, her mind drifting to the adventure ahead. During recess, she met up with Theo and Elias in a secluded corner of the yard. "I brought a few things that might come in handy," Lucia whispered, opening her backpack. She pulled out a flashlight, some granola bars, and a small digital camera. "I thought we could document our exploration." Theo nodded in approval. "Good idea. I got an old map of the town. It shows where the mansion is and some of the streets around it." Elias, still looking nervous, added, I brought a first aid kit, just in case." Lucia smiled at him, trying to reassure him. "That's really thoughtful, Elias. I'm sure we won't need it, but it's good to have." The three of them spent the rest of the break finalizing their plans. They decided to meet at 10 p.m. when the town would be quiet and the chances of being seen would be lower. As the day went on, Lucia's excitement grew, but a small voice in the back of her mind warned her about the dangers. She ignored it, focusing instead on the thrill of the adventure ahead. When night finally fell, Lucia felt her heart race. She checked her gear one last time before silently slipping out of the house. The streets of Eldridge were empty, lit only by the dim light of the street lamps and the pale glow of the moon. At the agreed meeting point, Lucia saw the familiar silhouettes of Theo and Elias. Theo seemed as excited as always, bouncing from one foot to the other. Elias, on the other hand, looked visibly tense, his eyes darting from side to side. "Ready for the biggest adventure of our lives," Theo whispered, his voice full of enthusiasm. Lucia nodded, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. "Let's go. The mansion is about 20 minutes from here, right?" Elias checked the map in the light of his lantern. "Yeah, we need to go down this street and then turn left onto the old avenue of the oaks." The three friends began their journey, the shadows of the night seeming to swallow them with each step. The silence of the sleeping town was occasionally broken by the distant howl of a dog or the rustling of leaves in the wind. As they neared the mansion, the atmosphere around them seemed to shift. The air grew heavier, and a fine mist began to form near the ground. Lucia felt a shiver run down her spine, but she chalked it up to the night breeze. Finally, they turned the corner, and there it was, the Eldridge mansion, imposing and dark against the night sky. Its dark windows looked like empty eyes staring at them, and the peeling paint gave the structure an air of decay and abandonment. "Wow," Theo whispered, his voice a mixture of awe and apprehension. "It's even scarier than I imagined." Lucia felt her heart race. "Well, we've come this far. We can't turn back now." Elias swallowed hard, his face pale in the moonlight. "Are you sure about this, guys? We can still turn back." But Lucia's resolve was firm. "Let's go. We came here to uncover the mystery, right?" With hesitant steps, they approached the entrance of the mansion. The front door, once grand, now hung precariously on its hinges. Lucia reached out to push it, feeling the rough wood under her fingers. With a creak that seemed to echo through the night, the door opened, revealing the darkness that awaited them inside. Lucia turned on her flashlight, the beam of light slicing through the darkness like a knife. "Here we go," she whispered, taking the first step inside the mansion. Theo followed closely behind, while Elias hesitated for a moment before entering, closing the door behind them. What they didn't realize was the soft click of the lock, as if the house itself had sealed them inside. The three young friends entered the mansion, and immediately they were engulfed by the smell of mildew and dust. The air was heavy, as if time had stopped there. Lucia moved her lantern around, revealing an entrance hall that had once been majestic but was now covered in cobwebs and years of neglect. "This is incredible," Theo whispered, his wide eyes taking in every detail. Elias, on the other hand, seemed more and more nervous. "Guys, maybe we should leave. This place doesn't feel safe." Lucia ignored Elias's comment, her curiosity overcoming any apprehension. "Let's explore a little more. I want to see what's in the other room." They moved forward slowly, the wooden floorboards creaking under their feet with every step. The walls were covered in faded and torn wallpaper, and old portraits watched them with empty eyes. Lucia began exploring the dusty rooms, but with every step, an unease grew inside her. It felt as though someone or something was watching her from the shadows. She quickly turned around, but only saw Theo and Elias behind her. Do you feel that?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. Theo furrowed his brow. "Feel what? Like we're not alone here," Lucia replied, her eyes scanning the shadows. Elias swallowed hard. "I told you we shouldn't have come. This place is weird." As they were talking, a soft noise came from one of the upper rooms. The three froze, exchanging panicked glances. "What was that?" Elias whispered, his voice barely audible. Theo, trying to stay calm, suggested probably just the wind or the house settling. "Old houses make strange noises all the time." But Lucia wasn't convinced. She felt an inexplicable need to investigate further. "Let's see what's upstairs." Against Elias's better judgment, they climbed the creaking stairs. Upstairs, they found a long hallway with several doors. Lucia approached the first door on the right and opened it slowly. It was an old office with a large oak desk in the center and bookshelves filled with dusty books on the wall. Lucia entered, fascinated by the atmosphere of the place. She moved toward the bookshelf, running her fingers along the spines of the books. Suddenly, one of the volumes fell to the floor with a dull thud. Curious, she crouched to pick it up. It was an old diary, its pages yellowed with time. With trembling hands, Lucia opened the diary. The handwritten words told a dark story of pain and betrayal. The author, someone named Victor, spoke of terrible experiments and pacts with forces beyond human comprehension. As she read, Lucia felt the weight of the emotions described on the pages. It was as if the words came to life, whispering terrible secrets into her ears. The last sentence of the diary made her blood run cold. "Revenge always finds its way." At that moment, an inexplicable cold wind blew through the room, extinguishing Lucia's lantern. Darkness swallowed them, and a muffled scream escaped Elias's lips. Lucia dropped the diary, her heart pounding furiously. "Guys, I think we made a mistake. We need to get out of here now." But when they turned toward the door, they were horrified to find it had closed. Theo ran to open it, but the doorknob wouldn't budge. "It's locked!" he shouted, panic evident in his voice. Then they heard it, a whisper, barely audible at first, but growing louder. It was as if the walls themselves were speaking, repeating the last words of the diary. "Revenge always finds its way. The atmosphere in the mansion grew increasingly heavy. The shadows seemed to dance on the walls, and the constant whisper enveloped the three young friends. Lucia felt a knot form in her stomach as the tension between them grew. What had once been an adventure now felt like a deadly trap. Elias, visibly trembling, whispered, "What's happening? This isn't normal." Theo, trying to remain calm, replied, "It must be some kind of trick. Maybe there's someone here trying to scare us." But Lucia knew deep down that this was far beyond a simple scare. The words from the diary echoed in her mind, and she felt that they had awakened something that should have remained asleep. Suddenly, a deafening crash reverberated down the hallway, causing all three of them to jump. The front door of the mansion slammed shut with a thud, as if an invisible force had pushed it closed. They were trapped. "No, no, no!" Elias shouted, running toward the window. But when he tried to open it, he discovered that it was sealed, as though it had been fused to the frame. The air grew even thicker, and fear took over each of them. The light from their lanterns flickered, threatening to plunge them into total darkness. The whispering voices seemed to grow clearer, as if trying to communicate. Lucia, feeling the panic rising inside her, screamed, "We have to get out of here, now!" They ran down the hallway, rushing down the stairs toward the front door, but every step seemed to take them deeper into the darkness. The walls seemed to shift, creating a maze that confused and disoriented them. Theo, always the bravest, tried to hold his composure. "Calm down, guys. Let's think logically. There has to be a way out." But logic seemed to have abandoned the mansion. Objects began moving on their own, books flew off shelves, and the sound of manic laughter echoed through the corridors. In a moment of desperation, Lucia screamed into the void, "What do you want from us?" In response, a guttural, inhuman voice reverberated through the walls. "You've awakened what was asleep. Now you will pay the price." The terror surrounding Lucia, Elias, and Theo reached its peak. Each of them was faced with difficult choices that could change their fates forever. Fear pulsed in the air, and the shadows seemed to watch closely every move they made. Lucia, overcome by panic, felt that the only way out was to confront the entity that haunted them. With her heart racing and her mind spinning, she decided to separate from her friends. "I'll try to distract it. You two, find a way out." "Lucia, no!" Elias shouted, but it was too late. She ran toward the deepest darkness, shouting challenges at the malevolent presence. The idea of sacrificing herself to save her friends consumed her, but this choice came at a high price. As she took the first steps, an even denser darkness enveloped her, and before she could comprehend what was happening, Lucia was captured by the evil force that inhabited the mansion. A silent scream for help echoed in her mind, but no one heard it. Elias, realizing what had happened, froze. Guilt began to consume his thoughts. He remembered the promises he had made to Lucia that everything would be okay. Now, his inability to act trapped him in a cycle of despair. "Lucia, Lucia, where are you?" Theo, determined to be the hero of the situation, decided to act. With renewed courage, he plunged into the darkness, searching for Lucia. "I won't leave you, Lucia. I'm coming." But his bravery turned into recklessness. As he strayed from Elias, he got lost in a maze of shadows, disappearing into the night without a trace. The mansion seemed to swallow his courage, transforming it into a distant echo. Elias, now alone and terrified, leaned against a wall, feeling the tears slip down his face. "Please," he whispered to the emptiness, "let us go. We didn't mean to disturb anything." In response, the sinister voice echoed again. "You came seeking mysteries. Now you will become part of them." The tension in the air was palpable, and the sense that evil was closing in on Elias grew stronger. Every decision made in that tragic moment seemed like a step toward an uncertain fate, where hope and despair were in constant conflict. The Eldridge mansion, once just an object of curiosity and urban legends, now revealed itself as a portal to something far beyond human understanding. And the three young friends, who had entered seeking adventure, now fought not only for their lives, but for their very souls. The hours that followed passed like an endless nightmare for Elias. Alone in the dark corridors of the mansion, he wandered, calling out for his friends in vain. Each room seemed to transform before his his eyes, revealing horrors that defied logic and sanity. At one point, Elias found himself in a room full of mirrors, where each reflection showed a distorted and terrifying version of himself. In another, he entered a room where time seemed to flow backward, rapidly aging and rejuvenating everything around him. Reality and illusion blended, and Elias began to question his own existence. Was he really there? Or was this all just an elaborate nightmare? Meanwhile, in other parts of the mansion, Lucia and Theo faced their own terrors. Lucia found herself trapped in a time loop, repeatedly reliving the moment when she opened the diary, unable to alter the course of events. Theo, on the other hand, was in a constant battle against shadows that came to life, attempting to devour him with each step. The mansion fed off their fears, growing stronger with every passing moment. The walls pulsed as if they were alive, and ancient voices whispered forbidden secrets into the ears of the young ones. When dawn finally arrived, bathing the exterior of the mansion in a pale light, the interior remained shrouded in eternal darkness. The townspeople of Eldridge, passing by the street, had no idea of the horrors unfolding behind those walls. Days passed, and the families of Lucia, Elias, and Theo began desperate searches. The police were called, but no trace of the young people was found. The mansion, when investigated, appeared empty and abandoned, with no signs of recent entry. Weeks turned into months, and gradually, the story of the three missing friends became just another urban legend in Eldridge. Some claimed they had run away, while others whispered about a darker fate. The mansion remained imposing, like a silent guardian of the secrets of that fateful night. Its old, dusty walls seemed to whisper stories of pain and despair, but the town of Eldridge continued to live on, unaware of what had really happened under its roof. For the townspeople, the mansion was just a forgotten building, oblivious to the truth hidden inside. The moonlight illuminated the place, casting shadows that danced in the wind. The echoes of lost screams still resonated through the walls, as if the spirits of Lucia, Elias, and Theo were trapped there, seeking an escape that would never come. The townspeople passed hurriedly, unaware of the struggle being fought within those walls. The curiosity that had once united the three friends now served as a grim warning. Those who sought to uncover mysteries weren't always prepared for what they might find. Lucia, Elias, and Theo had been drawn in by the allure of the unknown, but what they discovered was far beyond what they could have imagined. The silence that reigned in the mansion was heavy, carrying a clear message. Some mysteries are better left forgotten. The search for answers can lead to tragic consequences, and awakening evil comes at a high price. The mansion, in its solitude, held the truth, and at the same time stood as a reminder of what happens when one ignores the respect due to the dead and the unknown. Over the years, the Eldridge mansion became a symbol of warning. Parents would tell the story to their children as a cautionary tale, warning them about the dangers of unchecked curiosity. Some brave or foolish young people occasionally ventured near the mansion, but always recoiled at the last moment, feeling an inexplicable chill run down their spines. The town of Eldridge was never the same. A shadow seemed to hang over it, a constant reminder of the price that three young souls paid for their audacity. And on nights with a full moon, it is said that you can hear whispers coming from the mansion, echoes of an adventure that transformed into an eternal nightmare. This story serves as a powerful reminder that not all mysteries should be uncovered, and that respect for the unknown is a virtue often forgotten in our search for thrill and knowledge. Share this story if you believe the secrets of the past can still teach us valuable lessons. Leave your comment about which mystery you would like to unravel, but think twice before crossing certain boundaries. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more intriguing and spine-chilling stories like this one.